Quick questions. These funds that were transferring from the TIP are going directly to the general fund?
That's correct.
And not to IRH or?
They're going to the general fund.
All right, and that's because we've already paid these funds out.
The only funds that we paid out, a majority of the invoices for the legal bills, there's still 1 or 2 pending legal bills that have not been paid, and IRH has not been paid at all. So that money is going to go from the general fund
and it's going to go directly to IRH.
That's correct. Secondly, just for the board's knowledge, I did go over this subject thoroughly with Attorney Matt Welsh. The resolution was done based on my request for transparency to the board. Typically, as Attorney Welsh stated to me, I could just add this to the bills payable and say what monies are coming out of each TIF as the bills payable. Because of the village's financial issues and the true visibility of the TIF is the only reason the resolution is drafted. The resolution being drafted was totally optional. I did this for the board's sake because you all requested transparency when we're moving monies from the TIF into the general fund. That is the only reason.
Thank you, Chief.
All right. And just for clarity, the ones that are marked pending on the Excel spreadsheet for legal fees, those have not been paid. So those go from the general fund directly.
That's correct.
From the TIF to the general fund to the council. For the ones that are pending in IRH, they're finally going to get paid.
That's correct.
Okay.
In saying that, Mayor, my question has been answered, and during that period of time, I did see here where the money from Will County Treasurer, where it states with IRH. So thank you, sir.
Okay. And there are no invoices, but I've seen that these transfers that you will be doing, someone will be doing these transfers, and the pending, I know we owe them $568 TIF 3, we owe them $3,000 for 4, and they're pending. So will this resolve the total? Looking at the pending, and the pending is inclusive into the total, correct?
Pending is inclusive in the total,
okay.
And you should see those invoices on our bills payable tonight as well.
Right.
We're gonna have to pay them one way or the other.
Right.
The issue is, if this is not approved, we'll pay them out the general fund and just seek reimbursement another time. But I highly do not recommend that at this time.
And I'm sorry. And so all of this, but I see with IRH, they specify exactly their work that they've done for that.
And so, and just for clarification, each invoice number that you see on there, Montana and Welsh bills, they bill per TIF. So they bill for the actual work done. Right. Those invoice numbers coincide with billing that they've billed the village in the past. Again, the bills that on there that show paid, the board has at one time over the last 8 months approved those payments and have had access to those invoices upon request. Okay. So, and those specific invoices are TIF specific invoices. And honestly, as always, I have no problem in having all this scanned to the board in the morning just to give you guys that extra level of comfort to see and coincide invoice numbers with what's being paid out.
And for the record, the audience, it says here, our work included establishing the amount of the funds distributed from the Will County treasurers to the TIFs. So, and the wire transfers based on the board approval of non-board approval wire transfers prepared a summary schedule. So they gave us literature and explanation of it, making sure, this is just me again as well, you're absolutely correct, Mr. Pate, that money was in bills payables and all you saw was TIF 1, 2, 3, 4, not knowing that they were transferring it, what level and how that was being done. So I understand they have to be paid for that work. Depending, thank you for the explanation, but we will likely see, like Trustee Wilson said, they've been a lot of experts. Everybody's been yelling, they've been TIF experts, and we've been getting clobbered with astronomical amounts of money, and not knowing if it really should come from the TIF fund or justification of it.
And I understand those bills, legal bills are only for Montana and Welsh.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
I just want to make that statement.
Trustee Wilson.
So we vote for this resolution. Where is it on bills payable? Specifically on bills payable that we pay a total, because I don't see a total. This is a resolution and some invoice numbers.
Trustee, the only thing that you should see on the bills payable for now in the future is stuff that says pending. Anything that does not say pending, the board has already voted for the bill to be paid and it's already been paid. So it will not show up on the future bills payable.
So I guess if it's already been paid, why are we voting tonight? To transfer it?
Because we have to,
It's already paid. Why are we voting tonight?
we have to recover those monies for our general operating funds.
What's the total?
Okay, explain it like that. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna have to pull the calculator out and actually dial all this in.
Okay, you're
Which is
saying,
fine.
And that's exactly my point. But we have an Excel spreadsheet with the numbers. We don't have a total.
no,
So, okay, if everybody's clear and I'm the only one who don't.
no. Explain to her the fact that the TIF, when we remember the last board meeting, we had bills payable, the TIF funds were paid. Now he's showing here the actuality of the TIFs that were paid, and they're coming back, that money's coming back from TIF. It came out of general funds, we're restoring it and putting it back into the general fund so it can be paid. No,
Where's the
it's just
total?
basic TIF.
Where's the total we recovering back?
Trustee, the total is based on the documentation you see in Pen
Oh,
today. And
so
the-
I haven't added up myself?
No.
Okay, I'll do that.
Can you?
No, I said there's a total here somewhere, so.
Yeah. They should have the summary with our RH paperwork that's in there. Look at it.
Okay, so you know what, let me clarify.
There's a
So
total.
there's a total per check. So there's not a grand total because giving you a grand total, we still have to do the proper disbursements out of each check. So there's a total per check for legal fees. And then there's a complete total for IRH, and it's to be divided between TIFs, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, again, my point again, we have some sheets that have a total for each TIF, and then we have sheets from IRH. And theirs is to be split. What's the total from each TIF that we're gonna be recovering? We should have that documented somewhere.
It's
in here, IRH.
Okay, show me where it is.
attorney-wise, thank you.
Maybe the last, well, I don't know if it's the last page, but under IRH developments, there's a cover letter, and then there's a breakdown. Their figure, which would be split in 3, is $72,312.05. That's, I don't know if you can see this, I'm holding it out, Trustee Wilson.
So that goes into each TIF?
That's, no,
That 72,312 is split up with 3 TIFs?
yeah, divided by 3, and the money's not going into the TIF.
Well,
It's being transferred from the TIF account for the TIF, transferred over to the general fund.
and so, okay. So where we have TIF 3, you said that IRH's money is spread over, it looks like TIF 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5. But
I'm sorry,
4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6. So I'm looking at the spreadsheet, for TIF 4 that says how much money we're gonna take out of that TIF money and transfer into the general funds. I see a total of $3,850. If IRH should be there getting money out of TIF 4, how come their fee isn't on the TIF 4 spreadsheet?
There is, in the resolution, it describes it as 2 exhibits. Exhibit A would be legal costs. Exhibit B would be financial costs.
So, okay, what's the total?
Mayor, because I think I can probably help Trustee Wilson. IRH, when they do the work, unlike, attorney's office where every phone call gets logged into a certain case or something, they haven't been doing that for the work that they have been doing. So that's why they're saying about 85% of the work that they have been doing have been TIF related. Some of the salaries are dedicated because that's all that, for example, the TIF forensic auditor has been working on. So there won't be the same precise accounting that you would get from Montana and Welsh, where they have a software system that helps to log in everything. So some of it is going to be an estimate. And Ed, you want to comment on that?
To be clear, it's 85% of the work done in the TIFs done in TIF 4, 5, and 6, not 85% of our work. And we have instructed our staff to document all the work they're doing in the TIFs now for each TIF by hour and what they're doing. But our contract did not require us to do that. It required the village just to pay us a lump sum. So that's why we didn't do that in the past. But we started to do that now to make it easier for you to have clean documentation of any money moved from the TIF to your general fund. But we just started that.
Okay, yes.
One last question. I'm sorry, it's not clear to me, and when if we get audited, I don't know if it'll be clear to an auditor. So I'm looking at RH paper. It has 85% of salary of $72,312. We're talking about splitting that evenly between TIFs 3, 4, and 5.
It wouldn't be split evenly. It would be on a percentage basis taken from each one of the TIFs. You can't split it evenly because you wouldn't have enough money in TIF 6 to make a
Okay.
even.
So we don't have a total for how much we're going to recover from each TIF, because we don't know which TIFs we're going to take their money from.
Calculation, 85% among, what is that? I'm sorry. It's 85% among TIFs 4, 5, and 6. The calculation has not been conducted yet because we don't know if the board is going to approve this, if there's going to be modifications done, or what you request. But I assure you that once this resolution is approved, this will be going back to the village attorney for his review, and he will approve all transfers that go out and review transfers before they're done. We have to first request the board for authorization before we start doing fund movement from the accounts. That's what we're doing. Again, it has to be very clear, as I stated before, it is not a requirement for the board to approve a resolution every time we're doing TIF reimbursements, along as it's up on the bill warrant list, and we determine what money comes out of each TIF. That is the process that was done. I requested this process for transparency as the board requested. So I want to be very clear in that. So this is not a catch-22, or there's no tricks behind the documentation, or not adding it, or how we're doing our work. And again, this has been reviewed multiple times by our village council as being authorized to do. And actually, I was told, why am I doing this when we can just put it on the bills payable list and break it down there, and the board can just vote on it based on the motion.
I know,
Trustee,
yeah, actually, I have a real quick question. I'll ask, everything that we're passing the money from the TIF funds to the general fund is for TIF eligible expense.
That's correct.
okay. Meaning that it's legal to move this money from the TIF, wire transfer TIF, over to general funds for the payment of the attorney and IRH.
That's correct. And let's be clear. I went back and to look if there was any documentation done in the past by the village for these transactions, and it wasn't. And secondly, I need documentation for audit purposes because we're coming up into an audit of what, how, and when, and where we authorize the move of funds. At the point of us getting all these qualified opinions, there was really no documentation substantiating the transfer of the funds from the TIF other than a funds transfer request. So we're just trying to be a little bit more transparent in our process for audit purposes specifically.
Trustee Wilson?
For audit purposes. For audit purposes,
For audit purposes, they will want to see from IRH specifically which TIF the money was being used from for audit purposes. I know we're going to split it up from whichever TIF has money to pay them, but for auditing purposes, the auditor will want to see how much work was done in each one, how much work was done in each one, not each TIF, not how we decide to pull this amount of money out or this amount of money out because we don't have this amount in TIF 6 to split it up evenly. So for auditing purposes, and Mr. Rogers even said, moving forward, they will do that. So while we're being transparent, I'm not trying to be a pain. I just want to make sure, because a lot of things happen and it stopped right when I got elected, and I don't want to be in any trouble for transferring money from TIFs into general funds.
And I also have a written opinion from a TIF consultant stating that if there's any expenditures that are done between TIFs and the TIFs are connected by boundary, that funds can be used from each TIF as long as they're connected by the TIF boundary. So I understand where you're coming from. I understand your point, trustee, and it's taken very clearly. And I tell you, the next time we have one of these come before you all, we will have extra thick packets of documentation for you all, for you to review, to answer all these questions that you're asking now.
Now, make it clear, we're not borrowing.
No, this is to pay for money that has to be expended out. So this
That's
is
what
not
I'm
for
saying.
borrowing.
I'm just trying to make it clear to everyone as well, because you can't legally borrow money from your TIF, because you can't pay it back. So you should never borrow from your TIF funds.
No.
But justify it. It's really borrow. It's not necessary. Okay, because someone told us that. You can't borrow, and you can't pay it back. So we've been hoodwinked for a while. So anyway, we want to make sure that this is done. And I appreciate the audit purposes for the audit explanations and the
Just
breakdown.
point of
Thank you.
clarification. You can borrow from the TIF. You just have to have a repayment plan that's done through resolution.
Exactly. We're not borrowing. Okay. Justifying a movement, and it's justifiable that you can use TIF funds for certain purposes if it's related to the TIF area. Okay. Any more? Hearing none. Roll call. Trustee Williams.
Vote aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Vote no.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Aye.
Trustee Payne.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee, Mayor Kelly. Aye. Madam Mayor, that's resolution R 2018-07. I'll move right along with all these items. F to M, motion to approve proposal of wireless, thank you, God. Wireless and mobile data services with AT&T FirstNet high rate. And he will come up at this point. This, for the audience and for the board, we are removing Verizon service, and we're going to have a new phone service. And I have talked to them, and Sam Baylock is one of our best customers as well. I mean, he's a great guy. We really appreciate Sam, what he does, and we congratulated him on his 20th year event the other day. We went downtown. So we really, really appreciate this change for Verizon. And please indicate the money savings and the decrease of the thousands of phones that we've had out there that nobody knew about, and they're ghosts in the city and all that.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's an honor being here and seeing you again, Mayor Covington, and being a part of seeing this community at work.
Rob, can you introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, my name is Robert Jabkowski. I'm a sales manager for AT&T. I manage a store in Mokina, Illinois, and I've been working on special projects, working kind of along with our team that's spearheading the FirstNet migrations, as Illinois has just signed off on the FirstNet and committed to it, as well as we are committed to the state as well as the U.S. government. So just making sure that, part of our duty and commitment to Illinois, and then starting out with many of the smaller communities here that we're here to support you. First, initially, one of the things that you had asked was looking for cost savings. So looking at the lines, I don't have the exact lines. I know that we did, it was approximately 10 mobiles that were, we're not sure exactly where those lines were. So it was a good, healthy scrubbing of the numbers. And, Chief Payne and I went back and forth 20 times trying to figure out which numbers we had and what's not. But it has been organized. It's very clean. Currently, what we're looking at is Verizon estimated total before tax was $2,644.64, and our monthly cost through AT&T with the FirstNet service is $1,745.52. So that's an estimated total of $899.12 a month, and looking at a total estimated yearly savings of $10,789 coming back to the community. So,
repeat that amount again?
For the estimated monthly savings is $899.12, and the estimated yearly savings is $10,789.44. The reason why we put the term estimated is a matter of tax reasons. We didn't factor in tax, we went like for like costs, but the taxes are going to be very similar. It doesn't matter. We don't charge different taxes just because we're a different company. And then as far as the overall change in transition, what FirstNet does bring is bring first responder access to our network. It gives priority access in case of emergency or cell sites go down and we're restricting access. We're able to prioritize to make sure first responders have service at all times. Even when network is fully loaded, we're able to move common subscribers down to make sure that first responders have that access. The other advantage is really, I'm very passionate about. Right now with Verizon, if you've got an issue or a concern, you've got a 1-800 number, and you'll be lucky if you can talk directly to someone, right? I've got a team, experienced sales team that's here to support. This is very important to me, and I'm very personal with this one because this is one of the first nets to go through with the state. And we can't win the state if we don't win every community individually. So I'm very committed to this personally, as well as with my team. The other things that we're going to be bringing to the community is for individual users that are employed for the city. They would get 17% service discounts. There's also fee waivers that would include typical activation fees that the consumer would normally pay, but by being part of University Park, we would have that given back to the employee, and then exclusive savings and bonuses for not just wireless, for home, for internet, for TV, all those services. I've got some additional kickers that we do. Every sales manager has their secret stash of bonuses and gift cards we can do, but when someone comes into my store and they say they're part of University Park, it's going to be near and dear to me and to my heart, and I'll make sure that we give the best deal I possibly can. And then even the hands-on access. If the community needs something, needs a device got busted, I'm going to be there to be able to deliver it within a 24-hour period. And even the consultation is, we receive a bill, we've got questions, we need some details, we've got some answers. You're going to talk to me, and you're going to talk to someone that you know and someone that's actually here, rather than calling into a call center and hoping you get somebody that knows what's going on. So that's kind of some of the perks. I'm not sure if I missed anything that we've discussed, but if you have any additional questions, I'm more than happy to. But one more thing is I just, again, want to reinforce the fact that I'm near and dear to this and really want to be involved in making sure that this is seamless. We've even talked to Chief Pate as far as the transition process and breaking it into pieces to make sure it's done right every time, rather than trying to take care of everything at one moment's notice.
And I will tell you, me and Rob, as well as Dave, and the staff have worked quite diligently in scrubbing the phone list. We've had to scrub it, I think, at least 5 to 8 times because of phone numbers popping up that, we just don't have answers on. So this will be a clean transition. We have tied down all the phone numbers for everybody in the village, as well as data devices, and we are here to ensure that we have full transparency in regards to the process. Everybody will be keeping their same phone number. Everybody will be migrated over. Upon the approval of this motion, within the next 3 weeks, we'll set up a migration period, give 3 separate dates and times for staff with cell phones, as well as board members to come and get their data moved over and phone numbers ported. Once everything is ported over, Verizon will be contacted formally to terminate the account, which means it terminates all lines on that account that have not been ported over, and it gives us a clean startup with AT&T. And when we're talking about FirstNet, it really branches beyond fire, police, and public works. Even branches on to our elected officials during a disaster, needing to communicate with various staff members on the command team or our public safety team, the mayor, and various other officials that need priority access. We may not clearly understand. I think the only person who probably would, probably the mayor as an IT professional and Trustee Brooks as a police officer, would never truly understand the advantages of priority preemption and having cell tower priority during incidents. If you notice a tornado that comes through the area or even through a natural disaster event, you lose cell phone service because those cell phone towers are extra active with phone calls. This will allow us to still be able to use our cell phones without getting an interference or getting through and connecting us. It goes for phone lines and our mobile data terminals and our police and fire apparatus as well. They will have constant connectivity as well. And this is why this is very important to me, being a public safety professional. And secondly, the cost savings, the gigantic cost savings to the village. And I will tell you, I approached Verizon with AT&T's proposal, and I said, hey, if you guys are able to beat it, it's easier for me to stay with you all than you guys can match the price. And Verizon said, no, there's no way we're going to match this price. This is a national contract that was only awarded to AT&T, and we'll not be able to match the price. And when I say $10,000 cost savings a year, that's a lot of money. When you talk about small things such as data services, we have to start chipping down at the village's cost at the smallest level and keep going and going. So the residents may not think 10,000 is a lot, but it's significant when you're trying to balance a budget.
My concern too is one thing. We had over, I remember when Bola Delano was here and we looked at the phones. There were over 90 phones. And we started calling all over different states. Why do we have phones that far? I hope you retrieved all of that. And I know some people do have phone numbers still with this village, and they shouldn't be having it. And that's the problem we've had with this village. Some people think they're entitled to a lot of stuff, and they weren't. So I hope that you retrieved all of those phones, and I want to see the list, which I've been asking for 8 years I've been the mayor.
Oh, it's clean.
Where is the list of the phones? All of these people with these cell phones, some people Bologna called in Florida, people picking up phones. How did our phones get distributed in different states, different people? I'm telling you, and they're live and active. And we were paying all these bills. And also I know Mr. Richardson has talked to a person part of AT&T. They have another select phones. I don't think that certain people should have, everybody in the village that works for the village have an iPhone. That's ridiculous. They're not on a 24-hour call. They're not elected official. They're not a department head. Why do they have a phone? We just have a chirper, flipper phone. And I know for one time Verizon was charging us a penny.
Yeah, the device selections per department has been taken into account. I assure you that Public Works, Police, and Fire, and all the staff are very cognizant of your concerns, and we do appreciate it as you address them at this time. So
that's a cost effect.
Yeah,
that's a big cost.
Understood.
So we'll be looking for that as well.
Mayor, can I
Yes, sir.
Thank you. What is your name again?
Robert.
Robert, pleased to meet you. I'm glad you came and expressed to us about AT&T. You're the store in Mokino on Lincoln Highway and Wolf Road?
Yes.
Yeah, just west of Wolf Road on the north side of the street, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I have AT&T myself, so you just listed a few savings that may work with being an elected official and AT&T. Can you expound on that a little bit too?
Yeah, there is, pending on plan, and there's certain limitations specifically on certain plans, but there would be the 17% that would come off the base of the account. Also, there is an additional discount if you are a veteran. I don't know if anyone is a veteran, but there are additional savings specifically for veteran. But then as far as the waivers go, that would be any activation fees. Typically right now, if you had a line with AT&T, there's a one-time activation fee of $45, and that's not something that would be charged to you as an official. And then as well as even the employees. So even when we're talking about public works employees, they would have those benefits extended to them as well. And then as far as the additional discounts in purchases, occasionally I'll have 25% off deals, or I'll run a 40% off deal, certain types of products, and those are specific to accounts that I manage through my store on different times. If I want to do, sometimes, when you run a store, you've got a bottom line that you've got some discounting or some room to be able to drop some bottom line costs. So I would extend those too.
So is your store independently owned, or is is it?
No, I'm owned and operated, you know, I'm owned by AT&T. Yeah, so are my kids, yeah. But, yeah, and then, you know, even if we know that not everyone lives in University Park or can all the way make it, we do have a store in Homewood that can extend some of these offers. I have a close relationship with the manager there. I would just ask that a call in advance or notification would give me the opportunity to be a soft handoff, because I want someone to say, I work for University Park, or I live in University Park, and us be able to recognize that and mean something.
Trustee Brown?
First, I'd too like to thank you for coming, and I have to tell you, you had me at $8.99. And I want to thank you so much for coming to the village and saving us some money. And Manager Pate, I know you may not think it's much, but any little bit helps. You keep up the good work.
Also, about lost phones. How are, you know, we're going to come with a contract with that too, trustees, because we can't afford, every time a phone is lost, we have to, you will, the first one and the next one, you're going to have to pay for it yourself, guys. That's savings too. You can't lose phones and lose phones and lose phones.
I'll let you deliver that message.
And lose phones. I'm not calling anybody out. They know who they are. And it costs money. And you know, we gotta make. I know you might have GPS on them or some type of system that we can detect them. Like we can put on apps for our kids as well.
Right.
So.
Even part of FirstNet, there's going to be additional specific apps that are going to be designed for first responders that might actually help with some of those matters. The other thing is the state was really determined to make sure that the pricing was fair and there's not a lot of out-of-pocket costs for device replacement. You know, with any state entity, there's not like a contract, and if you buy outside a contract, you're going to pay, you know, full retail price or outside of price.
That's fine, but I just want to make sure you have some trackables on there, so in case there are, we can find out, oh, this is where the phone is, instead of buying a new phone or replacing it. You say, oh, the phone is right here, right there.
Yeah, any smartphone does have traceability to it.
Right, that's what I'd like. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. Okay, any other questions, concerns, comments?
Robert, I work for the county, so
Oh,
extra, but I get an extra,
You know.
but I get an extra 17%.
Depends on what you're buying. I'll have you in and we'll negotiate. Yeah, he's going to clean me out, and I think we'll have to go to Homewood. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any others? Hearing none. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Wilson, second. Second by Trustee McMullen. Roll call. Trustee Williams.
Vote aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Trustee McMullen.
Both sides.
Trustee Pate.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Congratulations, folks.
Mayor Kelly. Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
F2A, bills payable. All right, I know.